New Order and Blue Monday from 1982, the biggest selling 12-inch single of all time. One more thing about this format. The 12-inch was one of those things that allowed vinyl to survive during those years when it looked like the CD was going to wipe it out. Club DJs stuck to their vinyl because of the way they could handle it. It was this tactile thing with the two turntables and all the rest of it. The production of 12-inch singles kept enough pressing plants in business until the vinyl resurgence that we've seen in the last half a dozen years could take hold. We're halfway done, but there's still more coming up. In mere minutes to look back to 1982.
More of the secret history of rock coming up. Back to the secret history of rock with Alan Cross.
This week, we're going to review some of the things that happened in 1982. Remember that January was very, very, very cold. A lot of records were set all across North America. This was the year many a computer geek was created when the Commodore 64 was introduced. They'd sell 20 million of those things. About a month later, after it was introduced, DeLorean Motor Company went bust. John DeLorean in his car, only Back to the Future kept the thing alive. In April, the UK and Argentina went to war over the Falkland Islands. That was a weird little conflict that went on until early June. A guy by the name of Scott Fallman sent a message using a primitive form of email. What made it special was that this particular message is the first ever recorded use of emoticons. And in August, a new thing called the compact disc went on sale. Germany was the first country to get the CD. Japan got them in October. North America didn't really get them until early 1983. 1982 was when Ozzy Osbourne bit the head off a live bat during a gig in Des Moines, Iowa. Somebody had tossed it on stage. He swears he thought it was a rubber bat, so he went ahead and tried to bite it. Who brings a live bat to a concert? Anyway, later that year, he married Sharon Arden, and she turned his life around, still married. And on November the 30th, Michael Jackson released Thriller. And at last count, this record has sold more than 110 million copies around the world. It is by far the biggest selling album ever. That's a record that'll never be beat. Faith No More, Concrete Blonde, The Smiths, and Siona Dancing were formed in 1982. And I know you don't know who Siona Dancing is, but I bring them up because their lineup included this little fat bloke named Ricky Gervais. They were big in the Philippines for some reason. Bands that broke up in 82 included Adam and the Ants, The Jam, and The Who. Well, for the first time anyway. This group wouldn't so much as break up as drift apart after they released their 8th studio album. And even though they've done the reunion thing, they haven't recorded any new material since this record in 1982. Avalon from Roxy Music was a bit confusing for hardcore fans because the band had this tradition of featuring women in various states of undress on their album covers. So where were the women on Avalon? It's right there, actually. That figure in the helmet carrying the falcon is actually Lucy Helmore, singer Brian Ferry's soon-to-be wife.